Look, guys, top three things you can do to help prevent your engine from ticking, making that dreaded ticking noise.
Exactly worse, which side is the loudest. That's the best way to, actually that's the only way you're gonna be able to tell. So if you start straight down the middle, I would take a stab and a guess at, wow, it's hard to tell, guys, because you hear it straight down center, but you can't hear it louder on either side.
Okay, guys, number one is pretty self-explanatory. We all know that. Change your oil on time. Now, change your oil on time could mean a number of things. What is on time? Even that's up for debate. Nobody really knows. If you look at the book is not, or not the book, the manual. We go by Dealer Connect. If you look at the manual, it's all over the place. Okay, now I'll use the 2012. I had a 2012 minivan with a 3.6. That particular model. I'll use that particular model as an example. What I tend to tell people as far as brand, no, not brand, as far as weight, because brand, that's your choice. Valvoline, Pennzoil, whatever you want to do. But as far as weight go, I always tend to tell people or recommend that you use whatever the manufacturer suggests. In that van's case, on the oil cap, your weight, recommended weight of oil should be on your oil cap. My particular 2012 van had 5W20. So that is what I use. Now, to some people, that's not good enough. Okay, you're never going to please everybody. Everybody think they know what's best for their car other than the engineers or the manufacturer. They don't know nothing. I know what I'm doing. I got this. I just have to tell people that ask me, I was told this by the instructors at the school training center. Your best bet is just inform people to use whatever the manufacturer suggests. Okay, so that's what if you ask me that question, that's the answer you're going to get. Now, you may come back and say, well, I heard 0W30 was better. Based on what? Okay, and let me go out on a limb here and say this. Guys, a lot of people are blaming the lifter failure on the oil. Okay, now, they saying had they been using synthetic, a lot of people, I hear this a lot. Had I been using synthetic, this wouldn't have happened. Now you can see this lifter. The the roller bearings are totally gone. Okay, so if you see this, you got problems. You likely tapping. You're not even ticking anymore. You're tapping. Okay, and not only that, you got even bigger problems because you don't know what these roller bearings ended up at in your engine. Is it in the oil pan? Is it in the oil filter? Did the oil filter do its job by filtering the oil and capturing this trash? You don't know. So if you see this, you got big problem. Okay. But my point is, a lot of people were saying when they get this problem, they would say something like, had I been using synthetic 0W40, this wouldn't have happened. That's a debate engineers should have. Now, this is a free country. You're entitled to talk and debate amongst yourself or amongst your peers. That's all understandable. But I tend to stay out of those battles unless I'm dragged into one, and then I will end up in it. But this is this a result from poor oil? The 5W20 that Chrysler recommend, is this a result of them using that? I don't think so, guys. I mean, like I say, I'm also entitled to my opinion. I don't think so, because if that was the case, we would have gotten a memo. That engine showed up in the 2011, my 2012 Caravan. That engine showed up in the Pentastar 3.6 showed up in the 2011 minivan. Here we are in 2020 now. If engineers have come to the conclusion that, yeah, the public is right, we probably should have recommended synthetic or 0W30, and none of this would have happened. They would have sent out a memo to advise first the dealerships, because we're on the first line of defense as far as repair goes. Okay, they would have sent out a memo to inform us, please start using this. We get memos like that all the time. We was wrong at this. Now start doing this. Back in the day when we had book publications, we would get a sheet from Chrysler that we merely had to stick in the book in the space of the old information. Now with the advent of internet and electronic communication, they can do it a lot quicker. They can just wipe out that section off the internet and put in this section. But that's not the case. So no one has come to the conclusion that synthetic oil would have prevented this. Is synthetic oil better? Absolutely. As far as wear, heat, keeping your engine clean, yes, it is better, but I'm not sure it would have stopped this. Okay, this could merely be a vendor issue, a design flaw, a part. Whoa, I'm monetized. I can't be cussing, but this could just be uh, a poorly designed part. Now, this came out of a 2012 Caravan. If you go to the parts department right now and ask for a rocker arm for uh 20 2016, the 2017 went to Pacifica. That's a whole different monster. That's a whole different valve train setup. But there's still 2018, 2019 generation 2 Pentastar engine out there. If you go get a rocker, you're going to get one that looks extremely exactly like this. And it may have the same part number, but it may have 2 letters at the end that represent design change. So are they the same? Is this the same as 2011 as it is the same as, say, 2018? No, I wouldn't want to think it is. I think they may have switched vendors. Okay, but they have to use the same part number because that part number is dedicated to rocker arms off of 3.6. Should you start burning synthetic oil? It helps, but would it have prevented this? I don't. It all depends. All right, I got to get on to number two. Number two. What was number two? Uh, good quality oil. That's basically almost the same as one. Good quality. And what I mean by quality is uh brands. We start talking about brands. There's a gazillion brand names of oil out there. Pennzoil, Valvoline. I don't want to name off all brands because I'm not sponsored by any of them. And the brand matters. Basically, it's all about this. Stay away from the Dollar General oil. They sell quarts of oil in Dollar General. Okay, but that's not to be used in your 3.6 Pentastar engine. Okay, so brand helps. Now, weight, again, if you ask me about weight, I'm gonna refer you back to whatever the manufacturer suggests. Okay, don't dog me out. I was just advised to do that by high-ranking uh, training instructors at the Chrysler Training Center. All right, now let's move on to number three, man. Number three, and this apply to any car, not just the 3.6. As the Hemi at this issue, I've been told a lot of this problem can come from extremely long idle time. Idle time. Idle time. Just sitting in your car chilling like police officers do all the time. Let me tell you this. One time I went to Golden Corral. This is before the Corona and all that stuff. On my way in Golden Corral, it was 3 cop cars out there. Just sitting out there running, guys. Just running, just chilling, running, nobody in them, just running. I get in there, I finally make it in, pay, they go sit down and start eating. Them jokers over there, all 3 police officers, just over there, just feeding their face. Now, I know I was in Golden Corral for a good 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. They were still there by the time I was getting ready to leave. So what does that tell me? They car had idle probably over an hour. Okay. Now the thing about idle time, and a lot of manufacturers don't discuss this because I guess they don't think it happened. But cops tend to do this all the time with their cars. They don't care. It's not their personal car. It's a company car. And I guess you want it to be cool when you get back in it. You want the AC to be running. Go figure. So leave it running. Anyway, I have been told that has a lot to do with the ticking oil. Now, I have a problem with that, but I don't want to get into that. From what I've been told, if your oil pressure becomes low, just say you've been idling for 40 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Now, the particular 3.6 liter engine Pentastar uses a variable rate oil pump. Okay, so it's designed to give you high pressure at low RPM at idle. Okay, and as you drive, and of course, temperature kick in, and the pressure will likely go down. But that feature is not always working, guys. It's not. One guy told me he was monitoring, he got a gauge on his engine. He's monitoring his oil pressure. He said it got as low as 10 psi, but he left it idling for a long time. Oil pressure got as low as 10 psi. I was like, what were you using, the gauge? Because some of the instrument clusters are sophisticated enough to report that information. The Pentastar, I think, uses a oil pressure sending unit, and I don't think it digitally converts that information to your EVIC, to your overhead cluster, and give it to you in a numeric form. Okay, I don't think it would say 28 psi. A lot of guys these guys are into racing, so they use external oil pressure gauges anyway. But from what I'm told, if you cut down a lot on your idle time. Now, a lot of you don't do this, a lot of you do this, but if you're doing this, you may need to tone it down because that can play a role in you your valve train becoming defective. This happening basically. Yes, low oil pressure. Everybody has an opinion, and in my opinion, this is just a design flaw. But from what I'm hearing, low oil pressure can cause this and will cause this. Now, the Hemi, that was a big deal with the Hemi. A lot of cops, they leased Hemis from Chrysler, Hemi cars, Chargers or whatever. And rightfully so, they needed those to catch up with the crooks, the bad guys. Those used to be a lot of the cars with the valve train problems. And Chrysler essentially blamed that on long idle time. So we took it and ran with it. You must have been idling too long. You come in, y'all know. See, I have 3.6 parts here. I don't have Hemi parts, but they have the same issue. They can come up with ticking and tapping noise also. The thing about the Hemi, you gotta be careful because those that tick can be from another source. So you gotta don't always and this actually happened in the shop, guys. A guy built the engine, replaced all the valve train. He didn't see a bad part, but once you commit it, you got to keep going. So he did all that and still had to tick. And we found out later there was a exhaust stud. So be careful with the Hemis because they can give off a certain type of tick that not be valve train is what I'm trying to say. Not all ticking is valve train, guys. But yeah, they ended up blaming it on long idle time. Okay, now I picked up some information. I was able to pick my other buddy brain, Patrick Hannigan for one. Like I say, he's the one I got these parts from, and guy by the name of Jimmy Vaughn. I had Jimmy Vaughn on a stream a couple of times, a while back on the stream, and we discussed a couple of things. I told him what I'm gonna be talking about today, and he gave me some inputs, and even he suggested that yes, extremely long idle time can contribute to this. Okay, to this bearing failure, this rocker arm failure, and eventually the roller bearings coming out and causing your ticking noise. Now, I watched a video today from Patrick Hannigan. That's his name. He got a channel. He said he's gonna start building up his channel. He had a nice little clip on there. He was discussing three phases of a tick your car could give off in the event. I have three lifters here, guys. Let me explain what I'm at. 45 minutes. All right. This particular, I said lifter, I meant rock arm. This particular rock arm guy is seized. It's frozen. You can't turn it at all. Okay, with this type rocker arm failure, uh you're gonna get a tick. You're likely gonna get a tick. So I don't know. My light is terrible. You can see there, you can see where the cam has started eating into the rocker arm. So you will likely get a tick. And that's seized. That would not turn at all. So this is one way your rocker arm can fail. Here's another one. Now, this one is noisy. This will cause a ticking and tapping noise, but it's not bad. Now, this one may give off a tick. Difference between a tick and a tapping noise. A tapping noise when you likely have went too far and too long. You let that thing go extremely too long, and now you may need camshaft. Okay, but keep your fingers crossed because you may not. It all depends. That's why teardown time is essential. I personally have been burnt by not fully tearing down an engine and doing a proper inspection. I went off guess. Don't do that. Don't make the same mistake I did. But this rocker arm, it's bad. It's failed, but it's not to the point where you will get a hard tapping noise. And as you can see, there's not much. Your camshaft might be saved with this type. Like I said, you're gonna get a tick, but you might not need camshaft. This is what I call early stage. Okay, the early stage. Matter of fact, this is the first stage. In my opinion, this is the first stage of you about to have some problems, guys. So if you got a warranty, get in now. Matter of fact, if you don't have a warranty, get in now or get it done one way or another. Find something to do to get this before it get worse. All right. So that's another example. That's example two. And last but not least, the one I showed y'all earlier where all the roller bearings are gone. You likely ticking, tapping. You eventually may start knocking because, like I said earlier, guys, those roller bearings are somewhere in their engine. If they wind up in your oil pan and get lodged inside of a main bearing, it's hard to get that way. But if you get caught in the wrong journal, it could cause some knocking noise. So you can live with ticking and tapping noise, but When you start hearing knocking noise, you done went way too far. Okay, what causes that? Uh, it could be a number of things. I mentioned a few early in the video, so yes. So guys, man, I got off track, but like I said, I just want to discuss three particular things you can do to help. Okay, now once you ticking, there's nothing you can do. You can't go rush. Oh my God, let me run in and change my oil. Put synthetic in it. Hurry, 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 hurry. No, that's a wrap. Once you start ticking, where's the second lip? This is the one that's barely moving. No amount of oil, no oil blend, no special secret weapon, no, you can pull Lucas, you can pull transmission fluid, you can mix that. It doesn't matter. It's not going to stop your ticking. At this point, you have a hardware failure. Your rocker arm is failed. So you can either wait it out or wait till you get the money or simply park the car until you're able to get it repaired. But ain't no turning back. Now, I didn't bring a good rocker. I don't have a good rocker. All the rockers I have is bad. Go figure. But if you're not hearing any noise, these the top three things I mentioned may help you. And I'm using the term may because that is exactly what I think, what happened. It may help you. Okay. Now, there's guys out there that swear by the use of I use 0W20 super synthetic blend. I 100% everything. And mine never heard a sound from my engine. Those are the guys that's on the assumption because they use that oil, they don't not having any ticking. And that could be true. They could be right. Who am I to I don't know. They could be right. But that same guy that's using this oil, if he managed to, or if his engine mysteriously start ticking, you'll never hear from him again. You'll never hear him get back on the internet and say, I was using 0W20 super synthetic Pennzoil blend and my engine started ticking. So all we hear is the success rate or the success story that they give off. Okay. Like I say, he's not going to come back on and tell you my engine started ticking and I was using synthetic. So if you ever hear a guy that brag on his oil usage and that's the reason why his engine is, running good or not producing any noise, he could be right from a certain standpoint. Now, like I said, guys, I'm not dogging synthetic oil. Yes, it is better oil. It's better than the traditional standard oil because it has a lot of good stuff going on. Keep your engine warmer, cleaner, all that good stuff. Synthetic oil is better. Now, as far as the Pentastar, let me show y'all something, man. In other words, they didn't recommend you use synthetic oil. They said uh it wasn't a must. It wasn't a game changer. Okay. That's Pentastar website. I think Chrysler endorses them a little bit. Well, Chrysler uses the Pentastar engine. So they not really bragging on synthetic oil. In fact, like I say, their recommendation or the recommended oil use, they like to print them on the oil cap and they advise you to go by that. Again, once you out of warranty, do what you want. But as long as you're in warranty, I highly recommend you use what the manufacturer suggests because the risk and the danger in that is uh just say, I mean, this is a long shot, but just say you have some catastrophic failure, engine failure. Uh, if they do a oil analyst, or if they analyze the oil that was used in your engine, once they get your engine back, because keep in mind, if you got a new car and your engine fail, yes, we have to take your engine out and give you a new engine because you're under warranty. But we have to ship that engine back. If they take that engine and analyze the fluid that was used, it, fluid meaning coolant or whatever. Okay, they want to know exactly because they use that data to process more information and figure out what's best for the car's future or the engine's future. So if they analyze this oil and it's coolant and it's determined that it was not the correct recommended oil or the oil that was recommended, that could be some problems, guys. So you don't want that. I highly recommend uh you use what the manufacturer suggests. And a lot of you guys, I talked about this earlier a lot, tend to change your own oil. That's not advisable, guy, if you under warranty. Unless you can create some type of paper trail, unless you do your oil change, if you're one of those guys that keep up with your receipts, then yes, you can change your own oil. But I'm not that type guy. And if you, my thing, what I'm trying to say is, if you're under warranty, you you probably should. I know this hard, man. Oil changes. I priced out. I seen a guy pay $120 for an oil change the other day. Good Lord, I didn't know oil changes had got that expensive. But he has a paper trail. It's on file that he got his oil change at the dealership. So during that warranty period, if anything happened catastrophic, my piston go out. Let us see some records. Let us see some maintenance record. You can see it. You have it on your computer. Check my history. Nothing we say will stand up in court because he's been doing his maintenance and we have it on file. So yes, he likely will get everything handed to him on a silver platter. But if he don't, if your engine fail and you not showing or there's no paper trail, you changing the oil, your oil could be clean. You could have just changed your oil last month. But where's the paper trail, dog? We don't know. Hey, for all I know, you ain't changed it, but it's clean. Doesn't matter. Where the paper trail? Let me see where you spent a certain amount of money on a certain brand of oil because that matters too. All right. Now I don't know if they have a way to check what brand of oil you use. They have a way to check weight probably. Okay. In fact, some of the cars now utilize my Cherokee has it go by there's an algorithm that tells there's a light will come on in the dash to advise the driver. Yes, it's time to change your oil. Okay, this algorithm looks at a lot of inputs, man. Load on the engine, the temperature of the oil, everything. And it does all this calculation and it will display in the form of a light to advise you, yes, it's time to change your oil. So a lot of people, they're taking that information and when they see that their oil is down to 10%, that's when they'll go ahead and get it changed. A lot of guys act proactively. So yes, because that Cherokee, that 2017 Cherokee, used synthetic oil. So yes, it may be up to 9,000 mile oil change intervals. Okay, that could be the case. For synthetic oil, that's likely the case. Okay, because you can go longer periods of time using synthetic oil. Everybody know that. But traditional oil, the Hemi, the older model Hemi, they use a oil pressure sensor and an oil pressure switch. And they also use the input from the coolant sensor to tell. This is how I used to always wonder how the hell this car know. We used to get a fault code said wrong engine oil used. How do you know what I use, Mr. Car? You don't know what I put in my car. It could do some calculation and tell what weight of oil you use in your car. Okay, based on those inputs. So cars are become smarter and smarter. Well, I hope I got my point across as far as the top 3 things. Let me mention these again real quick before I get out of here. Number 1, change your oil on time. If you don't know the time interval when you should get your oil change, find out. It varies from car to car. There's no set. Okay. Now, I will say FCA do advise do not exceed 10,000 miles. Okay. Number 2, a good quality oil. Quality, I was talking about brand, Valvoline, Pennzoil, whatever you choose. And number 3, cut back on your idle time. Those are the top 3 things you can do yourself to help prevent your engine from ticking, tapping, all that good stuff. Valve train noise. You don't want your valve train to fail. Guys, I have to go. I want to thank everybody for jumping on board. Okay, I gotta go, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all on the next video.